edition number 2 of Chellavision. So this is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool. We have a great show today. We have Jev Pic. We have the Hive Minds. What in the world's going on, right? I mean, weed's legal now, right?
Legal wanna.
Legal wanna, yeah. It's weed. It's legal in California. I'm kind of intrigued how that's going to manifest itself, like on the construction job. I'm kind of wondering how construction's going to go now, because I know, like, drinking on the job, it's like, all right, you know, that's always frowned upon, but I guarantee you that there's going to be some magic brownies packed in some lunch pails here pretty soon. I'm even more intrigued about how the first police interaction is going to go. Like a police officer that's just baked out of his face, that just pulls somebody over and is like, you know, like, license and registration, please. Person's like, sure, officer. Do you know why I pulled you over? No, I don't. I was hoping you knew. I totally spaced out there. Mind if I get some of that water that you got there? It's really gonna go down. It's gonna be pretty crazy. I can't wait to hear about it on the news. We have Jev Pic, who's coming up here to the stage.
So, yeah, I'm here. Thanks for having me. A lot of times people are like, oh, so you make art and you take photos and you write articles, like, what's up, what do you do? And I really say, hey, you know, I'm not really good at anything, but I have like this passion for creativity and curiosity.
Curiosity, yeah, you mentioned something about that. The human condition. I think the answer to the human condition is discovery, right?
Always on the search. It's like that kid. I feel like when they ask you why is the sky blue, and sometimes we have a lot of ego and we don't really know the answer to why the sky is blue. So we can sometimes like belittle someone without even knowing it, you know? And the person who's asking why is the sky blue is the same person that goes on to ask, you know, like, why are the white people masters and why are the dark people the slaves and why are you the king and I'm the sir, you know, and why is so-and-so our president, you know? It goes on and on and on. It's like the person that asked the question, you know, goes on to sometimes rule the world, because I feel like curiosity is so much stronger than even bravery. It can take you down dark places out of like innocence, out of sophomoric thinking. It's like the same with my art. When I was just making art one day just for fun, for shits and giggles, I never thought anything of it. But then when people start purchasing your art and people start asking you questions and people have you on television shows and they're saying, hey, tell us about your art, all of a sudden there's this pressure, like you have to perform for people, or you have to make something that is sellable or something that people want to listen to. And really, you know, you can go to Google, but you can never find anything new on Google. You can only find things that we already know. So I think, you know, they say that the counterfeit innovator, the fake innovator, acts very like broad and boisterous and very confident, but really a true artist is scared to death. And every day, you know, I think the thing that motivates me the most is fear, you know, of what's next. And I try to get rid of that word fear, and I try to replace it with curiosity, because if you're scared and you just say, hey, maybe I'm curious, it changes everything, you know, it changes the context of what you're thinking about. So, you know, here's to curiosity.
Cheers to curiosity.
Curiosity.
I'm curious as to what you've been working on lately, like project-wise. What have you been involved in?
I've been pretty lucky. There's a cool magazine called XY Magazine, and it's a culture magazine for gay youth. And I've been lucky enough to do an entire magazine that's dedicated to the Palm Springs lifestyle. So it'll be at like Barnes & Noble, and it's sort of like the corporate thing. That's my favorite thing about making art, is giving a voice to those who really don't have a voice, or someone who doesn't know how to express themselves, or being able to be insidious and sneak into a corporation, or sneak into like a conservative household and put something like, you know, like the lips with the cherry, or the veiled grievance with the two-headed bunny. You know, people are always like, 3 breasts and 2 mouths, she's like amazing. And I'm like, she's the same woman who will, like, I think the saying is dance all night and make you coffee in the morning, because she's a goddess. You know, and they say, you know, I know that never forget where you come from. I know you're the man, but don't forget where you come from. It's sort of the same idea too. It's like there's a place for femininity and strength, and to have that balance of the yin and the yang, of the masculinity and the meekness. Because a lot of times it's really, I feel like a lot of us are born to fight, or a lot of us are born to survive, and we know how to survive.
You have had a little bit of a survival coming up as well, right?
Yeah.
A little fight or flight mentality from early on.
Yeah, they say fight, flight, or just freeze. And for me, yeah, I grew up in a children's home in Southern Illinois, and it was definitely power of the fittest or the whitest, because there's a lot of ethnic diversity and separation there, which is something that I can't believe today is something that's on the American agenda, or it's something that we talk about in politics for any of our major parties. But it's something that should be in the past. But we have to, I feel like suppression is something that's very real today. And if we're just quiet, or if you're just neutral about something, you don't want to take a side to be polite.
You end up like Seinfeld.
Maybe so. I don't know. I know that
they did nothing.
It does nothing.
Spoiler alert, I don't know if you guys have seen the end of Seinfeld, but they did absolutely nothing.
No,
and they got in trouble for it.
Yeah, because when you're silent, all you're doing is giving power to people that are trying to suppress you. But the victim doesn't get any strength from silence. So that's why you always have to take a side. You always have to let your voice be heard. You know, it's like every single moment we're here, we have the power to change our destiny in this very moment. So just that very idea alone should like freak you out a little bit, because we can always change our destiny. So if we can change our own destiny, think what we can do for other people. You know, once we start to come together, or just not be meek, or like I said, buy a piece of my art and then the message is sort of in your house. I don't know. But one person at a time, one thought at a time.
One of those people that did that was Leonardo DiCaprio, is that correct?
Yeah, that's sort of the feather in the hat sometimes. People are like, well, how long have you been making art? Or how long has it made you make this piece of art? And the whole answer is like 35 years. Because I feel like it's accumulative. It's everything you've done in your entire life, you know, and I know there's that saying about the 10,000 hours, that once you hit your 10,000 hours, you're supposed to be an expert at anything that you do. I know, well, there's a lot of things that you want to be good at, so you can't just be good at one thing. It's like what they say about ADD. They try to give you medicine for it, because they say, oh, you can't be ADD, you need to focus on something. Well, today, in this day and age, you can't just focus on one thing, or else you're going to be left in the crowd, you know?
Right, we have an emergence of modern Renaissance men that are actively engaged in a multitude of different creditable subject matter. Right?
Everything under the sun is up for grabs, and you know, I'm a solar powered guy, so I'm always out in the sun. But I do feel that your voice has to be heard, but also like we're very blessed to be able to do what we love, and to try to, I don't know, leave some type of legacy at the same time, because that's the only thing that we can be remembered by. Like I said about fear, I'm always scared that there's going to be that moment when someone's turning on the lights and they're like, okay, the party's over, it's time to go home. And I never want to be in that moment, you know? It's not that I want the party to go on forever, but I want a moment to go on forever. I want a memory to go on forever. I don't want to borrow someone's moment, I want to create a moment. And that's the best part about making the art, is I can create a memory, I use nostalgia, I can like sort of play off of something that's precious to you and put a twist on it. So if I'm ever able to mess with someone and juxtapose two connotations at one time, then that's my goal. You know, try to make people think. I try to trick you with like something pretty and glossy. Like now I'm using stones. When I was in Sweden, they gave you this water, and I was looking in the water, and it looked like it had rocks in it. I'm like, what are these? What's this ice? And they're like, it's amethyst. It's supposed to cleanse you as you drink it.
Isn't it like an anti-lie detector as well?
Anti-lie detector, I don't know, because there's something magic about storytelling, just because you're saying that right now. And storytelling is what I try to do in my art right now, because the magic of storytelling can master an entire audience, no matter what the medium. But then what happens is there's this curiosity. See, back again with the curiosity. It's the curiosity that drives the storytelling, because not only do you want to tell the story, but people want to hear it. So, but this is a true story. Back to the water with the crystals. I was drinking some of it, and I'm like, well, what is this supposed to do? And he says, amethyst is supposed to help with forgiveness, And forgiveness is one of the most important things in life, because forgiveness lets down all the barriers. Like right now, if you were to slap me in the face, I would have 50% to do with this because I'm sitting here on your stage. So what I instantly do is just try to forgive someone, because it makes life so much easier. So if you can just say, hey, I'm sorry, all of a sudden the other person can let down their guard, and they can maybe say they're sorry, or at least open up a conversation.
Yeah. Now you've worked with I mean, this is amazing. It seems like you're very well versed in philosophical matters as well, and you've done a lot of work on yourself to be able to now be in a position where you can help others. How have some of the more prominent people that you've worked with influenced that?
It's funny. I don't know that only because working with a celebrity, sometimes they tell you that the sky is red, and you have to look at the sky and say, okay, Mr. Bieber, yeah, the sky is red. So just the whole superficiality or the artifice of an entire world within a bubble, sort of propelled me to want to tell some more of the truth. And one time I got to babysit, and this is very bizarre, the Jenner sisters, Kylie and Kendall. We were shooting them for Paper Magazine's Beautiful People issue, and so they came in, and they instantly go to the box of like, not negligees, but in I guess layman's terms, it'd be like lace and straps. And I remember telling them
they found Victoria's Secret.
They found Victoria's Secret, but a little bit edgier, like La Perla or something, where it's like barely there, but thousands of dollars of lace, of nothingness.
And you said this was during a babysitting session?
Well, it ended up being a babysitting session because they had handlers, and the handlers would come and they would pass them off, and so certain handlers came and dropped them off and said, hey, Everett, we're going to be leaving. I don't know if there's any way, if it's cool if they're still here shooting. Maybe, the other handler, the babysitter, will be here momentarily. Well, it ended up being like 4 hours. And I'm just sitting here and talking with these girls that you think were raised in a bubble, but really they have more than those 10,000 hours. And not just like people skills and communication and thinking and thoughtfulness. So it's really funny because they always say don't judge a book by its cover, even if you've read the book already a couple times.
Right.
Really just like let it vibe out and be its own thing, because we get so into seeing the world the way we think that it is.
So you think it's more efficient to stay in each moment?
Each moment.
To be fully present and aware in each moment.
That's all we have.
I have something for you if you want to capture the moment.
I want to capture the moment.
You want to capture the moment? I think do we have something that we can use here? Oh. You're a photographer, right? You're a photographer,
yeah.
right? Okay, so, I'm going to challenge you to capture the moment as much as you can right here with this Polaroid.
Here we go. Right now. This is not some type of joke.
Yeah, I think there's a lens here.
This is something going on.
The lens snap.
I don't know. Is the hair good? Is the lighting good? I always say, like,
there he goes.
Shoulders down, chin up, breast forward, neck down, dip to the side. All right, here we go. Let's see the cello.
Yeah, sure. You guys, is it me? Are you capturing the moment of me?
You're the only thing that I see, brother.
All right, cool.
Let's see. Uh-oh. I don't know. There might not be any film, but we're gonna do imaginary shots.
Hey.
Right there, live and real. It's you. It's funny because I'm sure everyone's heard that certain tribes feel like if you capture someone's image on film, you're taking a part of them home with you, a spirit home with you. And there's something I believe in that because I feel like I get to always capture people's souls for eternity. You know, it's voyeuristic. So thanks for the photo, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, to being curious.
Jev Pic, ladies and gentlemen. Standing Rock? Like, what is going on? I think, can't like just the president help? Isn't it just the president that can help with that? Like, I'm like, dude, why doesn't Obama just like pull the plug? And then I remember that our country is run by billionaire gangsters. And it's like, all right. So Obama's like, yup, the American people have spoken. And I think we should pull the plug on Standing Rock. And I'm like, nah, dude, it's not gonna work. Because then you gotta remember who's his opposition. Like, yes, Mr. President, you can pull the plug. And then we'll pull the plug on Sasha and Malia, your daughters. He's like, as a matter of fact, drill. Keep drilling. Drill, 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 drill. Not my daughters, just the pipeline. It's crazy, man. Was Gucci. All right. So, I want to make a quick shout out to Zero over here, holding it down. John Gray. All this lighting, all that music. It's amazing, guys. My soul brother. We've known each other for a long time, and he's an amazing person. King of Hearts, master of emotion. That's right. And this group, they have a new EP. I'm going to grab it over here and show you guys. And I love the title of it. It's like, really don't mind the waiting. Like, just really don't mind the waiting. So, the Hive Mind's here. So let me go ahead and welcome them to the stage. Everybody, round of applause for the Hive Minds. You guys feel free to pass that microphone on down, however you wish. Hey.
Thanks for getting that right, man. It's so funny every time. The high minds, the termites. You'd be surprised all the things we get. The termites are cool.
Termites. Yeah. Earlier I mentioned a StarCraft joke about the Zerg and the Hive. Yeah, it's pretty niche, pretty nerdy.
Yeah, no, we've heard that.
The Hive, the Zerg. Yeah. So this is kind of like a family affair, right? Kind of from what I've experienced, what I've read. It's a little bit of a. You got something to say about this already. I basically, what I want to talk about is how it all came together and like how that first initial studio session was and how it all came about. If you guys can answer.
Well, I assume you're talking about doing this EP, right?
Yeah.
We had a CD that we did before this one that was a little more of our own project, but this EP was pretty trippy. You know Ronnie King, right? The local dude. He's worked with a lot of local artists. Well, I think this is our first release.
I know of him. I don't know him personally.
He's a trippy dude. This is our first release as a trio for sure. I think we've all been involved in other projects. Matt and Sean were involved in a project before we all got together, and then Sean and I were as a duo for a while. But this EP was really interesting. It was interesting getting in there, and the Ronnie King's quite a pro, and I don't know. It was just. I mean, obviously we had all the songs already hashed out beforehand, and we came into it and it was it's about a relationship basically. It's a full stream of falling for somebody and getting into it, and then of course eventually ending. And then I don't know. It took us. I think we worked on it for like 2 weeks, and so it was a rush. We just spent our whole.
Which version of it? Like the first version
Oh, yeah.
we recorded?
That's funny. Oh yeah, no. Matt brings up a good point. We get in there and I think we hashed out we finished it all in like a week. We all loved it. Ron King, I gotta tell you, is like the trippiest dude that one of the trivia guys I've ever met in my life. We finished the whole thing, and he's like, "All right, how'd you guys feel about that?" And we're like, "What do you mean? No, it was good. It was good." Yeah. And he's like, "Okay, dope." And I think, am I right? Did he let us sleep on it for a night? Right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, no,
Mike's in your face.
No, which one? What do I do? He gave us some time, and then he sent it to us in an email, just like a little copy of one of the tracks. And he goes, "What do you think? Dope, right?" And we all like independently text each other, and we're like, "I don't really think it sounds that dope. What do we do?" So he goes, "Okay, new plan. We're gonna come back. We're gonna take 2 weeks. We're gonna throw that whole album away. We're gonna start from scratch, change how we record everything, add new parts." It was crazy. We had to, like you said, we came in with these songs that we had fleshed out and we're working on, and we ended up having to all but completely rewrite a few of them.
Wow, so that was he's like, back to the drawing board. Was that surreal for you guys? Have you ever done anything like that before? Or was it just completely abandon your entire creative project and just
Well, for me,
do it again?
Definitely not. For me, I haven't worked on anything on that scale before. I mean, I know you've done stuff with like jazz bands and stuff like that, but nothing on that scale for me. And especially I'm the main principal songwriter, and if it was anybody but Ronnie telling me that, I would have told him to shove that drawing board right over the fucking ass, you know.
What kind of emotional reaction did you have initially versus after that process was complete? I don't remember.
Derek was so angry. we have a drawing board that's got all of every single time we have every single track labeled that we're gonna do, and once it was perfect, we would check it off. So we're going through it, and then on the back of it, we all signed it, and we made like a schedule of like, oh, what we did this day, what we did this day,
Right,
and
notes,
there's notes, and it's broken down. It's like, oh, Derek had a breakdown this day. Sean freaked out, quit that day, and it's going back.
I quit.
Ronnie's an interesting cat to work with. It was a pleasure. But Derek says this really well. Talking with Ronnie, it's like he doesn't speak English. He speaks vibe. So like he's talking to you, and you don't necessarily understand what he's saying.
It's pretty much just kind of like just a
But
vibe.
Your velocity, man.
You get the vibe of what he's trying to get across. So it's not really the words necessarily.
Yeah, dude, bro, dope. Like,
Sick.
Like that, like
Dope.
we recorded that album. We recorded the first time, and he's like, "It's dope, right?" It was a test.
it wasn't dope.
It was not dope. It was the opposite of dope.
So now you came up with something dope though.
Yeah.
Oh, this EP's great. We're all very happy with it.
It's fire.
Did you listen to it?
No, I actually heard the first two songs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What are they called?
I don't know if they're but I listened to them and I like them.
Thanks, man.
I saw you at Synergy. We actually shared the stage together a little bit.
That's right. We did. That's right.
A Synergy Festival in Coachella. That was pretty cool.
You know, I love this valley. I'm not a local, but these two are. I mean, I've been out here for a few years. I consider myself a local now. I usually don't tell people I'm from out of town.
It takes a few years to just be able to be
Oh, you're not.
viewed as
You're not from out here.
I'm from Austria,
Am I
actually,
not?
Vienna.
I'm not allowed to do this, am I?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm from Vienna, Austria, but then I was raised up in the high desert since I was 5, so
Okay.
yeah, I'm localish.
Very interesting. How does that make you?
Tell me more. How does that make you feel? So Bernie Sanders, how I like to call him Bernie Sandals.
You know, he just like you, he got the name right. That was the dopest thing, right? Like the right when he comes back on. I'd like to introduce the Hive Minds. That was great. Thank you, local music. You know, because like I was telling you, like so many people get the name wrong.
That's a good impression.
Literally everybody gets the name wrong. It's shocking.
Seriously, 1% of people get it right. Hive, you have to say it. Like the name, we have to change the name to Hive, like the beehive, minds like your brain. That's the full name of it.
Wow.
That's a good idea.
I wouldn't think that people get that wrong. It's very straightforward.
Usually it's high minds. Yeah, dude.
Oh, the high minds.
I mean, that'd be cool, I guess. I don't know. It's a little lowbrow.
Pink Floyd. Is that one of you guys' biggest influences?
I think that's one of Matt's. I love Floyd.
Matt, talk to me about Pink Floyd. All right. I got a little thing to say. I just recently went to Desert Trip and saw Roger Waters. okay, don't kill me for saying this. I had no idea that Roger Waters was freaking Pink Floyd. I didn't know.
Really?
I didn't know, yeah. And then all of a sudden I was just blown away by the music, and I was like, this kind of sounds like Pink Floyd. And so, yeah.
This guy's ripping off Pink Floyd.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, this is best Pink Floyd cover band of all time. So talk to me about how's Roger Waters and Pink Floyd influenced you?
A lot of the bass style. I mean, I'm a bass player, so I get a lot of the bass style from him. He has this way of coming up with these like groovy yet simple bass lines, and I try to apply that to myself because that's one of my main influences. And so is Primus, which is like way other end of the spectrum of bass playing. So I've had to try and marry those two very different styles together.
Well, that was a great answer.
And
Yeah, no, that was a great answer. So you've married the styles together. You feel that, like, you know, having a fusion of this Primus more heavy influence with the melodic elements of Pink Floyd. I noticed that Keith Richards even mentioned something about having space in the song, which is what a lot of artists don't do. They just want to fill the song with a lot of
silence.
Yeah, content. Silence is super important to allow the song to breathe. Is that something that you guys like to implement or are even aware of?
Oh yeah, actually, there's like a secret track at the end of the album. It's like that.
Not anymore. Thanks.
It's the heaviest track on the entire album. It's just nothing. It's nothing. There's not a track number for it. Yeah, it doesn't have a name.
That's cool.
No, really though, silence is super heavy, and I consider myself I mean, we do a lot of it. I think what we do is indie rock, you know. But I definitely consider myself a blues guitar player. And I think it was B.B. King actually. Was it Roger? Was it who did you say it was?
Roger Waters.
Talking about silence.
Oh, Keith Richards.
I you know,
I couldn't believe I could understand him.
Pretty much everyone says, you know, from drummers to guitar players, silence is one of the most important weapons you can use because, you know, you've got some underground, you've got a ceiling, but I mean, if you're up here all the time, then it doesn't matter how brutal you are. But if you start here, you know, or even here off, and you know, you've got all this room to grow, that's that, you know, it's dynamics. That's everything.
when we were re-recording everything the second time, that was a lot of what we did. Was we would go in and we'd play the track. And I was like, you know, it kind of sounds manic. We're like, what?
Steely Dan.
Yeah. So a lot of it would be, oh man, we've got this part worked out, and then let's not do any of that. Let's just do. Just like one note there. I'm not going to play this whole riff.
Right.
The drum beat, I'm just on the floor. I'm just going to do a little thing like that. We're going to take a lot of the extra stuff because it was when it got down to it, what was necessary, what did the song need, and what was just detracting from what it was.
So silence is
So
powerful.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, we all but had to beg him to keep I Want to Be Over You on that. We're gonna play that. We're gonna play that after this. We don't.
So stick around, guys. The Hive Minds are going to be performing live. All right.
Wait, he's laughing.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so that was funny. That was a faux pas, man. Wow. But check it out. I want you guys to talk a little bit about this upcoming TED Talk that you guys have. I have no idea. You guys sprung that me on the last minute. That was pretty kind of cool. So,
Dude, it was sprung on us on the last minute.
well, talk a little bit about that. What's going on?
Matt, you know the least. Talk.
Hand it to him. He knows the least about it. I know that it's TED Talks Medical,
That's it.
and it's on Wednesday.
Nice.
That's about how much we knew about the Bernie Sanders thing too, I think, though,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it was crazy. Bernie's handler gives us he sends me an email and he gives me a call and he's like, so do you guys want to play the Bernie rally? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, send me your socials right now. We're doing a background check. You need to be at the Field of Dreams where it was at like 5 or 6 a.m. or whatever. And at this point it was 6 or 7 at night. So he's like, in like 12 hours you need to be there. So it was last minute. Same kind of thing with this. Our manager just hit us up. She's like, hey, do you guys want to play a TED Talk? We're like, yeah. Here we are.
Actually, doing the social security codes and stuff like that. We had a fourth member. He's in jail now. No, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say, talk to me about how that came about. He didn't happen to be walking around naked with a lightsaber, was he?
You know, yeah.
So you guys have a TED Talk coming up. So is this gonna be aired on the actual TEDx, or is it TED.com, or?
Dude, like I said, I just play guitar, man.
You got to keep that mentality. It's super okay. You know, it's something that's
It is.
it'll get you really far because when you simplify, then you know.
You sound like Ronnie King.
Yeah, it's
Except
dope.
you're speaking. Oh, there you go.
It's
I'm
dope
sorry,
to
Ronnie.
keep it
If
simple.
you're out there, we love you. I'm so sorry, dude.
Keep it simple, stupid.
You're dope.
So the songwriting process is for you guys. Is it cohesive? Is it something that you guys are kind of doing one at a time, laying one track at a time? Are you guys recording all at once in the studio?
I think we'd start with drums, right? But we would jam. We would, you know, I think it would usually be like Sean and Matt or me and Sean, because there would always be drums first. But we jam along with you to kind of, you know, like say I'm jamming with Sean or all three of us are playing. We're not recording the guitar bass and we're not letting it bleed through, but it just gives it kind of a vibe. You know, he's playing to a metronome and everything. Don't get me wrong, but it can get a little stale. You know.
When we're writing songs, we do a lot of jamming. So Derek will kind of write a song, he'll have an idea, and then he'll kind of bring it to practice, and we'll kind of jam on it a little bit. A lot of the songs we've had for a long time. Derek's got a back catalog. I mean, we used to play gigs 4 hours plus of just original music. So Derek's got all these songs, and then he brings them over, and we just, let's do it this way today. Let's try it different, and then until we find something that we're just, okay, this is it. And then those are the songs that end up going on to albums like this. Because we've got a bunch of 100 songs that are not doing anything. They're sitting around. Every once in a while we'll bust them out, and suddenly it's different. All of a sudden we're playing it today, and it's got this vibe to it, and we're like, dude! And then now it's in our power set. We play it every week.
Right.
Nice. What's the one thing, just out of curiosity, I'm going to switch the subject here real quick. What's the one thing your fans, and each of you can answer this question, just pass it around. What's the one thing that your fans would be completely shocked or surprised by about you that they have no idea about?
About the band or myself?
Yourself.
I'm a robot.
I knew it.
Just take off the mask.
Right?
It's an android.
You. I'll come back.
Sean's a robot.
Let's go. It's a tough question.
Yeah.
I am an avid meditator and conspiracy theorist.
Nice. Transcendental meditation?
A little bit of everything. Some transcendental stuff, some like just working on energy systems with like specific intentions and things like that. Opening chakras and what have you.
Nice.
I grew up on a goat farm. Yeah. I can tell you all about how the proper ways to milk a goat. Come from a really small little hick town. It was great. It was really awful.
Greatest of all time.
I dressed like a weirdo, you know. It was really cool. You know, we played Bernie Sanders rallies. The rednecks loved me. Yeah. Sean, is it still a robot?
I don't like Derek's hat.
Mic drop.
Just kidding. I don't know. I'm an open book. I think people kind of know those things about me. I don't know. Pass.
You're an open book. You're an open book robot that doesn't like Derek's hat.
Just ask him 3 questions real quick. Fire, just bam.
No, that's
And
good.
now I got you, okay? See?
Yeah.
Now he's like, we're gonna cut that out.
No, we'll keep it.
All right.
Keep it. So this is our wrap up here. So we're supposed to wrap it up now.
Okay.
But what we will do is we'll transition into a performance by the Hive Minds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the Hive Minds.
I sit and listen to the music in my head, reminiscing on the time I put an angel to bed. Had hope that in silence my thoughts will be so clear. I'm in need of something strong to distract me from the fear. Well, I know I can't go on living anywhere without you, baby. I know I can't go on living and it's making me insane. I know I can't go on living anywhere without you, baby. But maybe this crazy world would affection kept you in bay, baby. I'm packing up my shit, I'm moving to the west. I know I'm breathing now, but I still wish you the best. And I know I can't go on living anywhere without you, baby. I know I can't go on living and it's making me insane. I know I can't go on living anywhere without you, baby. I know I can't go on living and it's making me insane, making me insane. I know I can't go on living without you, baby. But maybe this crazy world will bring her back to me. Bring her back to me. Oh. I know I'm leaving now, but I still wish you the best. Hi guys. This song's called Up. Wings out, run for me. Our change could be so nice and exciting. Hold your heart, sing for me. Your voice alone could be the perfect company. And not hold it in my attempt to destroy me. Waves crashing into the air. Beautiful, I'm not you to turn it down. We run. We'll go up, up, up. We'll go up, up, up. Na, 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 na. La, 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 la. I'm out of my head. 'Cause you couldn't see it, never did you believe in your faith that I said. So our hearts stepped outside. Either a cigarette break or just another mistaken romantic instead. And I would never forget you. I was thinking of that should have taken a bet. You said you were mine, wasting my time. Baby, don't fall. We'll go up, up, up. We'll go up, up, up. Sorry about that, guys. I wasn't aware there was a fog machine, man. I thought my amp was on fire. Big up to the rhythm section for holding it down and not listening to my BS. Man, what's next? Yo, it's freaking out. All right. How the fuck does it go? I'm far away, I'm beneath the deep goods to convey, searching for the words to say to make you stick around. You're all that I've been looking for, no, my love I will not go on without. You sleep softly, babe, 'cause in the morning when I'll be gone, it's been so big that I am afraid. I'm afraid in the morning that I'll be chasing you around. Why am I always chasing you around? Ha! I'll be a little time to wait. Well, I'm ready now. Let's pick up a bomb and throw them out. Forget about the world, our worries. We got no hurry or down. I'm ready for your love this season. I promise no treason, no drought. You sleep softly, babe, 'cause in the morning and I'll be gone. It's been so big that I am afraid. I'm afraid in the morning that I'll be chasing you around. Why am I always chasing you around? Why am I always chasing you around? Yeah, I'm a little mile away. I'm a little mile away. I'm a little mile away, Jen. Oh! You're in every soul, not inside your head. You get it so cold, don't mind it, baby. Your tomorrow's bold, but let your love be said. Y'all already know. Thank you. Such a game to be returned to sadness. I wouldn't take anything back, but I wanna feel to you. When I'm found to be in myself, I've got a feeling afraid I'm alone with my heart broken out of my hell. I'm away, I'm away, I'm away, I'm away from you. I'm killing myself. Killing myself. being myself. I've got a feeling afraid I'm alone with my heart broken. It's on my own. I'm away, I'm away, I'm away, I'm away from you. I'm not over you. Get through. I wanna be over you. I'm back to being myself. I've got a feeling afraid I'm alone with my heart broken inside of my heart. I'm away from you. And I'm feeling myself, but I don't. I wanna be over you. I wanna be over you. Wanna be over you. I wanna be over you. Keep rocking that intro, not so bad. Alright, y'all out there in Internetlandia. So everything else has been off the new EP so far, but this is a new song. Check it out, exclusively here. It's called While My Guitar Gently Tunes. So you hear about this? You hear about this stuff? We're in Kuwait? All right. If you stay, then I will be true. my own and I am falling apart. But I just miss you. Did I just miss you? Will I just miss you to keep on falling apart? Whoa, whoa. Hi, thanks a lot, guys, for having us as Thanks for having us as part of your little show. For the Hive Minds, my name's Derek Jordan Gregg. This is Sean Poe. Travis back here. We're out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Chellavision edition number 2. Make some noise! Once again, get it up for Jev Pic and the Hive.